I feel like I've perfected cooking collard greens. So I personally think one of the best dishes and one of the dishes that I look forward to the most on Thanksgiving and Christmas and even New Year's Day is collard greens. So honestly, if the collard greens are great, everything else just comes together. If the collard greens are terrible, then it's a big damper. If you're wanting to cook one of the best collard greens ever for Thanksgiving or Christmas, you just want it to be a solid dish, I'm going to show you how I do it. I'm not a chef, but I have cooked collard greens many times. One, because I want to almost perfect it so that it's that staple side dish. So we bought these a couple days ago at our Thanksgiving haul, our Thanksgiving grocery trip. I think I got 5 bunches because these were the only ones that look really good. What you want to look for mainly is just like any other fruit or vegetable. You want to look for no blemishes. You want your collard greens to be really dark, and you want them to be pretty firm. So first step is, you're not gonna even guess this. First step, I learned this from my mom. She probably learned it from my grandma. Go ahead, take a guess. What do you think it is? It's cleaning your sink. Honestly, you could put this in like a big bowl. Let me show you. You could soak your greens in a big bowl if you have a bigger bowl than this, like a big, let me go get it. I have several, why can I not think of quart pan? I don't know, I can't think of the name, but I just like the sink. In here, I've been soaking the onion and just some apple cider vinegar just to get that clean. But yeah, so first step is to clean your sink. Clean your sink very well because that's where we're going to be soaking it for a little bit. And after you do that, the main goal here is no science to it, but you know, it's just simple steps that goes a long way at the end. You want to cut out most of the stem. My fridge. You're going to cut out most of the stem because you don't want this, you know, you don't want a ton of stem in the greens. Yeah, some people put the whole thing. I just don't. I leave some of it, but take out most of it. You're just going to drop it in the sink. Let me make sure. You can't see me. See me cutting it. Okay, there we go. So yeah, just cutting most of the stem out. Just toss that on the side and then toss the leaf in the sink. I'm going to chop this middle stem out. Our Thanksgiving this year is going to be pretty chill and pretty small. We're going to a friend's house today, staying the night there. They live kind of out in on some land, and so we'll just go out there fishing, and then come back tomorrow and prep all our food. Usually we have pretty big Thanksgivings in light of having people over our house, but this year we're just taking it easy. I'm tired. Here's the trick. I'm gonna put some ice in the sink with cold water. Just get a good part of the stem out and toss that in the sink. Collard greens, you know, again, just like any other fruit or veggie, it has dirt all over it. So that's one of the reasons why I like to soak it. But also before I soak it, I'm just gonna rinse it off with some water, then put it in the sink. Okay. Now let me turn the camera down so you can see what I'm gonna do. Now, I'm going to, excuse me, have my cup of ice. So I'm gonna put that ice in, and I'm going to fill it up with water. And everything's pretty self-explanatory. But if you're doing this for the first time, you know, I can see how it can be a little intimidating. Rinse this off as well. gonna get my onion. Okay, I'm gonna let this fill up with water and then I'll turn the camera back on because you probably can't hear me. This is just one white onion. You can use yellow. I would not suggest red. Oh, before I forget, I'm gonna put a splash of apple cider vinegar into into the sink. This will just help clean the greens. Get all that dirt and bacteria off. You want your greens to be clean. Clean as a whistle. This is the pot that I'm going to cook the greens in. That's good enough. Woo! Haha, my eyes. Okay. Throw those onions in there. Again, just one whole onion. They say if an onion makes your eyes like water super red, it's not that good of an onion. So we're gonna work with what we got. Okay. So now the next step, kind of pushing the greens down to just kind of agitate the greens, agitate the water so it can get all that dirt off and any bugs or spiders, any of that stuff. You don't want it in your greens. Alright, next step is rinse off the greens. I'm going to take each leaf out, rinse each one off, and then cut it up into, so now this is a personal preference thing. Sometimes people cut up their greens in super fine pieces. Sometimes people like them longer. I'm kind of in between, but I'll show you how I do it after I rinse them off. I basically layer them, roll it like a little burrito, and I start chopping. Chop it in half, chop it again, maybe one more time, and then throw it in the pot. Okay, so let's rinse these off. Each leaf, rinse it off, and then lay it on my cutting board. This is like a very rhythmic thing. Just a process, a slow process. You're putting a lot of love and care into it. And you'll taste it. You really will. If this is your first time making collard greens, I would love to know it. Let me show you what I'm going to do over here. So, like I said, I lay them all down. Now, obviously, these are all rough pieces. But I roll it, try to get it as tight as I can. You see, it's just a rough little burrito. And then basically chop it like this. Hopefully they don't fall off. Probably in about 1 inch thickness. It smells so good. Like you can smell the greens. So now I basically just kind of cut those 1 inch pieces in thirds. And there you go. That's what you want. Okay. I'm not going to cook these greens today. I'm just prepping them. And so what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to put these greens in another little bowl. When I cook them, I saute the onions and I saute a ham hock first. And then I throw the greens in with chicken broth and the salt and pepper and all that stuff. So all the chopped up greens that I have, I'm going to put it in a bowl and, cover it up. And then when I'm ready to actually cook them, which will be tomorrow, then I'll throw them in the pot. Make sense? Great. It's going to get messy. It's okay. That's why you always work with a clean workspace. actually have to hurry up and finish this before my husband and kids come back home. That's why it's so quiet, because they're not here right now. Okay. This is a sidebar. It's related, but slightly unrelated. It is my personal opinion that anyone who eats a collard green uncooked and just blanched, there's something they know that I do not know. Sure, it could be like good nutritional value, whatever, but that is just gross. To just eat it without like having any seasoning and having any cooking process to it. Ugh. Anyways, it's just my opinion. It's become very popular the past couple years. Maybe it's died off now, but I'm just seeing people doing that. I'm like, how do you eat a collard green wrap? Like a lettuce wrap. Like, it's not the same. Anyways, I digress. Okay, so now you're left with a messy workspace, but a bowl full of yummy greens. Doesn't that look yummy? Oh my goodness. Well, it just looks pretty, not yummy yet. It does smell, it smells so good. Like, it just smells fresh. We'll get to the next part. For me, it'll be tomorrow. For you, it'll be probably within the next 10 seconds. Okay, let's get to it. It's tomorrow. This is the next day. I have my onions in here with some oil. Only a little bit so it doesn't stick. Then I have a ham hock, little pork hock. It's a pork neck. I'm going to put this in here so it can simmer with the onion. And then I'm going to add one more part. I'm going to add a turkey neck. Just kind of balance it out. So here's the turkey neck. I am using this from turkey that we're cooking. It's all simmering now. Let me show you. Hello, Alex.
Hello.
Alright. So,
and it smells really good.
Thank you. So it's simmering. I'm going to add 2 garlic cloves in there. I'm going to add in, I'm going to add in a little bit of pepper. Just a little. A little bit of salt. You're going to add salt as you go. So just start small. Then you're going to be tasting it along the way to see how much more salt you want to add. You just want to simmer this for about 3 to 5 minutes, not long. Just to get the onions translucent. And then now, add your broth. I would say start by adding about 2 cups, maybe 1.5 cups. Can you throw this in the trash for me, buddy?
Just for me.
Thank you. Because these greens are going to be cooking for a long time, and it's just going to absorb. It's going to absorb all that. I would say do a cup of chicken broth and then about a cup of water. Alright, that's good. Alright, now
collard greens.
you add in the greens.
Yeah.
Simple as that. Slowly add these in.
Collard greens. Who doesn't like collard greens?
Now it's going to look like a lot at first. I mean, it is a lot. But it's going to be pretty stacked in the pot. But once these greens start cooking down, then it'll be probably about half the size that it is right now.
Just let it cook.
That's right. So it's pretty high up there. All the ham hock, the turkey neck, the onions, all that's at the bottom right now. So I'm going to
Push it down.
Yeah, I'm gonna just push this down a little bit. We'll cover this up and then let it simmer for probably 15-20 minutes, check back in, and then that's when I'll kind of mix everything in. It's been about 15 minutes, so I'm going to show you what it looks like. It's simmering. It already smells so good. So you see, it's about halfway. Kind of pull some of the onions, the turkey neck, pull everything to the top. Now we're going to turn this all the way down. Turn it all the way down to basically low. So it's going to be on very, very low, very, very slow simmer. And it's probably going to sit like this for 2 hours or so. And I check as I go along. So every 30 minutes or so, I'll just check on it to make sure it's not drying out. If it's starting to get low on fluids, then I'll just add a little bit of water or a little bit of chicken broth. It really honestly doesn't matter. But you want more flavor, you do chicken broth. Just let it simmer for a couple hours, and like I said, check in on it. I'll add in a little bit of salt, probably every 30 minutes, just a little bit. And then at the very end, I add my last bit to just make everything marry together and taste like a final product. And that's it. It really is so simple. I'm gonna add a little salt. I'm actually gonna taste it so I can see where I'm at right now. It looks really good already, so it may not take much longer. Yeah, it doesn't need much longer. Great. 30 minutes.
Dad, you can make your own chicken broth.
There's no burner can.
The greens are done.
I might put it in the store.
Yeah, the greens are done. And the broth is done.
I'll taste it.
Dad, can I get this top to put on it?
Yes.
So good. So good.
I bet it is.
Enjoy.